everyone. Welcome to the Expertise Podcast. On this podcast, I have the opportunity to speak with experts that have created a business out of their expertise. And today we have the opportunity to talk to two individuals, Cara and Camille, and I'll have them introduce themselves in a minute. And they have written a book, and the process that we have followed through with them is to take their book and to transform that into a coaching program that they can sell separately. And the whole idea of doing this project is to create a business out of your book, earn more money for what you have written, and have your expertise on a different platform so lots of other people can enjoy that expertise, and to lead people through that program. And I enjoy doing that. I'm very excited to get into the interview today. So Cara and Camille, why don't you two introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about the book and the project.
All right. Sounds great. I am Cara Cocchriarella. I currently teach health and PE at Clark College. I live out in Portland, Oregon, and I also run a consulting business where I do coach development with athletic sports coaches, and been teaching and coaching my entire professional career, and sports have been a huge part of my life. I am at this point in my career really enjoying doing this work with Camille, and it's athletics and coaching and making a difference in that realm are a big passion of mine. I also really am very invested in doing all of those things with inclusion as a foundation of that work. And so that's who I am professionally.
Nice. Yes. I'm Camille Adana, and I live in Portland, Oregon as well. And I'm a high school teacher going on 25 years, and strive to be an athlete in my younger years, and then got the full ride athletic scholarship and played sports, and then have been coaching and teaching for that long, 25 years. And wellness has been the underlying kind of theme in my classroom and in my coaching world. So, and then this person landed in my life, and we have that in common. And so I think it's been pretty awesome to take our expertise, put it in a book, and then move it into this course so that we can add value to the world.
That's awesome. Yeah. Both of you have so much experience. You're both college athletes. You both work in the coaching space. It's amazing that you have combined your expertise into one platform to be able to serve people and to help other coaches out. So can you tell me a story about how the book came about? And the book is Winning Well. And if you could talk about how those ideas came about and how the book came about, because you wrote it together. So.
Yeah, we did. And it all kind of started with the two of us working together. We had the opportunity to teach in the same high school, and both were teaching health and PE courses, and discovered definitely some very common passions and areas of interest in coaching and wellness. And Camille had written a couple books prior to this, and so had always kind of talked about writing a book together. And we decided the best way to do that would be to combine our teaching and our coaching worlds into one, and in an area that we both work in daily, which is that wellness realm, and being able to bring it to coaches and athletes, a population that really seems like they should focus on wellness quite a bit, but notoriously coaches tend to kind of neglect their own wellness. So trying to encourage coaches to take care of their own wellness and to support wellness in athletes. And it just seemed like a good fit.
Yeah. And then ironically, COVID happened, and then my sweet friend over here was diagnosed with T-cell lymphoma cancer. So I think the journey of writing the book through Zoom for days and days, we did it and proposed it to the USDCE. And there's not a ton of books out there or information on wellness. And so we got it. We got the deal. So, and we did it, and we're here.
Right.
Awesome.
It is a process, and it is a challenge, as you both can recognize, is such an accomplishment to even have a book published. And the fact that you did it together I think is a tremendous accomplishment. And you want to give so much back to coaches, and you want to give so much back to that community, that it's just I just commend you both for that. So congratulations on the book.
Shelby, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
It was fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
fun
fun.
stuff.
Being an author myself, there is some fun parts to it, but a lot of it's not very fun.
Yeah.
There's some challenges there. So let's talk about what inspired you, and for the audience that knows my project and what I do, I help experts transform their expertise into a monetizable product. So a course, a webinar series, something that people can consume on a larger scale, similar to a book, but then just delivered in a different way, and really putting you in a coaching atmosphere. So, which you already are. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to seek something different for your ideas, and what made that transition, spark that transition?
Yeah. Do you want
No.
to? Okay. Yeah, I think, we got the book out there. It's co-published by a coach development organization and the publishers. And we were looking at different avenues to get our message across and hopefully make a difference. Because as you mentioned, it's just an area of our professional lives and others' lives that we really care about, and we would love to help in any way that we can. So we were looking at different ways to kind of get the message out there, ways to get the book out there. And I had heard about the work that you were doing, Shelby, and I was very intrigued. And so reached out to you personally just to find out more about what it is you do and what all that entails. And it seemed to be a perfect fit. I remember having that conversation and then, contacting Camille and saying, hey, I think we found something pretty cool. This woman I know is doing this great work, and she'd be excited to work with us. And so that's kind of, I would say, how we landed on this with you. Just
Yeah, again, a little bit, just I wrote a book and then wrote a book, and then we wrote the book. And I knew that I had a vision to do an online course myself. And so I have spoken to her about that in the past. And then she called me about you, Shelby. And it was just like, yes, let's do this. And I think it's probably a little bit better to do it with a best friend and a pal and someone that has a commonality, so we can kind of go through the journey and experience together, because we're not done after this. I mean, it's going to continue on. So yeah. And you have been amazing to work with. And yeah, and we can go into that in more detail if you'd like, but yeah, it's been fun working with you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to talk a little bit about that work, but both of you there's so many other things that you can do. And this is a great project to just start with. And, and what I feel is that many people that have put programs out there or have put books out there, there's always a next step. There's always something else, because people get attached to your brand and get attached to your mission, and they want to follow you along that journey. So that's great. I'm glad that we started this relationship, and I look forward to what's next. So it's a lot of fun. So go ahead.
Sorry. One thing I think that's been key about us teaming up with you is that the two of us, spent so much time on the book and have spent so much time talking about it. And it's the similar material to what we teach every day in our teaching lives. And so for us, being able to expand the team and kind of expand our horizons and look at different avenues and have those different thought processes, come to fruition or become a part of this process has been really important for us. We sometimes feel like we're talking about the same stuff over and over and over, and it's just the two of us. And has been really nice to have a fresh perspective on it. And especially from a group of people who, you're on our team, and that feels good to us and has been fun and helped us immensely.
Yeah. Thank you for believing in us. Yes.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm in a similar space. We teach in the classroom. We do all these things. We have lesson plans and all that, and we influence our students, but we don't think about how those ideas can necessarily impact an outside community. And it's a transition in audience, and it's a transition in that communication. I think it's so helpful to have a third person or a third entity on the outside to be able to help that transition.
Definitely. Yes.
Mhm.
In the processing of the information, with the ideas in your book, we kind of we didn't really transform the material, but we transformed the way it was presented. And I know that the first time that I read the book and my team read the book, because we were all involved in this process, my whole team was, and it took a while for us to kind of take a step back and talk about how to reconfigure things. Can you talk about the content and the delivery, and if that was that a transition for you, or did it bring to light something new? Can you talk about that, the content delivery, I guess?
Yeah. So we started actually by going through your course, Shelby, and which really helped us to kind of narrow down and look at the content in our book from just a slightly different angle, and trying to really streamline that material. And so when we did that, that process really helped set us up to be able to jump into our course, or the formulation of our course, in a way that we still really wanted to have all of the material in there, because it is really important. And especially with a topic like wellness, you can't just leave certain aspects out. That's kind of the problem with wellness in our society right now, is people have really kind of pigeonholed ideas about what that means. So with a topic that's so holistic, we needed to have everything in there, but we wanted to make it a really digestible model, or utilize a digestible model for people. And it was really nice being able to kind of throw that out there to you and your team, and hear kind of what stood out to people. And it was one of your team members who started with kind of an original idea of, well, it seems like these 8 dimensions of wellness that we address in the book may all fit kind of into 3 separate categories. And through just bouncing those ideas off of one another and back and forth with all of you, we were able to come up with a model that feels really good. So we went from 8 dimensions of wellness, all the same material is in there, but we have this 3-aspect model that involves body, mind, and culture. And it feels really much more user-friendly, I would say.
User-friendly. Yes. Yeah. And then I think that it allows for the book to be even more of a focal point later for other people if they want to get way more specific. We do kind of streamline it. It makes me sad sometimes because there's so much, but we're getting to all the points of emphasis that are really going to make an impact. And then it will stimulate the mind to go out and get the book and dig even further. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys helped with that. It was nice. It's hard because there are wellness models, and so it's nice to be able to get it into the 3 spaces, body, mind, and culture, and really get specific in there. So it's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. Of course.
It fits our target population well too. Our target population, coaches, are a group of individuals who often have a lot of balls up in the air, figuratively and literally often, but yeah, so we're not trying to give them something that feels overwhelming to them in any way, or that feels like, oh, I have to do this one more thing. I can't manage anything else. And that process of narrowing everything down and really focusing has been really helpful, I think. So.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's so important for just talking about as an author, you write all of the information, and as a teacher, you want to give all the information, but all the information is overwhelming. So having things pinpointed and more directional, and then if they want more information, they can go to your book. That's why I think there's such a nice complement of having the book with all the information in it, but here are the action items that you can have and that you can take and do within your own practice and own space, and it helps with that. So I think that makes it
also wellness. I think because it's so multidimensional, being able to really pick and pull and whatever way a coach needs to do it on a day-to-day basis. I think the program is beautiful in that way because it's just like nice snapshot of information. They can take it, that 3-minute video, and run with it for a couple weeks. I don't know. It just feels a lot more doable. Yeah. Especially when you're in season
Right.
and managing life. Yeah.
A lot easier to watch a 3-minute video rather than here, read a book.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Many people are that way. And I think especially with the way we consume information now and our media and just the way that information is A, presented to us, and B, expected to consume it. I think it's just a model. So yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the playbook for coaching with wellness. We have the 3 dimensions.
Yeah, so we've got this 3 dimensions of wellness that we present and work through with coaches. And ideally, our goal is for coaches to walk away from the playbook for coaching with wellness with a couple game plans. One for themselves to invest and promote their own personal wellness, and one for them to support athlete wellness. And both are essential components of a coach doing the best work that they can, making the biggest impact that they can. And so we walk people through, starting just with like, what does wellness mean? And what do these 3 dimensions entail? Body, mind, and culture. And what kinds of things are you talking about? Like a wellness game plan, what's that mean? And how might somebody put that together? So we give a lot of different ideas. We have some different perspectives in the course from various coaches, and just, again, walking them through a process to really come up with a couple concrete plans. And ideally, it would be something that coaches would try while they do the course and then continue to do it for the rest of their lives, and maybe in different aspects of their life as well. The other thing with the course that is really important to us is that we have a very big focus on inclusion and inclusive practices in coaching. And wellness itself is inherently inclusive because it's very personalized, it's very holistic. It allows people an opportunity to really see themselves and to see others as they truly are and to value their individual experiences. So there's a lot about inclusion in the course as well, which is something especially in sport culture, where we have a lot of opportunity to make a difference and to do better, quite frankly. And so that's what the course is, to help people invest in their own wellness and to support athlete wellness, but to come out of it with a couple real concrete plans in mind.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. I mean, that was pretty perfect. I mean, I think inclusion and why it matters is really important. I mean, all the way through and through, right? So, but yeah, you did it. You said it very well. Good job. Good job, coach.
Thanks.
I think inclusion is always relevant, but I think it's so important to be talking about right now. Just with, I just listened to a podcast about the Brittany Griner situation in Russia. I mean, there's just like so many important debates, and where all of these discussions that are happening that with athletes, it's just such an important framework and a relevant framework for coaches to understand and for coaches to think about, particularly.
And to add to that, Shelby, I will add that it's continuing your education. I mean, I think this program is literally going to help just kind of broaden the whole scope of what you're doing and why it matters to make an impact on the athletes in front of you. And that means all people involved in the process. So that's exciting. It's exciting. Yeah.
Well, let's wrap up this piece of the interview and for working with me. Is there any other final thoughts about what you'd say for somebody that might be thinking about transforming their expertise into a course, and how they, any final thoughts about that, or why somebody would choose to work with me through that process?
For sure. You'd go first this time.
Okay, well, Everyone has a big mind and they create and they have a vision. I think when you do a program like this, you need to be able to chunk it down and get very targeted. And hopefully it's the most impacting punch, right? But about you, what did you ask about you?
Well, kind of both. I kind of asked both.
Yeah.
Working.
I just think that when you have a team, it's almost mastermind group work where you're able to talk and discuss everything together. And I think that's been beautiful with you. Because we're sick of each other. And no, we're not. We're just kidding. I'm just kidding. We love each other, but it's just nice to have an outside coach like you, because you're a coach, and knowing that we have something to sell to the world that's actually adding value. So, but chunk it down, get down and dirty with your information and specific as possible. That's one thing I would add to it, but.
Yeah. I think it's been really helpful. Like Camille said, we have gone over this topic in our material time and time again. And so it's nice to have some fresh eyes on it and fresh perspective. And it's really helped energize us at different times as well, to hear what you all think and what different aspects have been most striking to you. It's been nice to have that perspective and that reminder that like, oh yeah, coming from people who don't talk about this every single day of their lives all day long, these are the things that kind of stand out. And I think in terms of working with a team, it's been really nice too, to know that, you know, we have someone like you, Shelby, who's a really big picture kind of, you know, thinker, visionary. We have other people on the team who are experts in terms of website development or some of the technology, just getting help. Even though we're teachers, it really was helpful to have the people that helped work on our, you know, had some ideas about worksheets. Again, that's stuff that we do every single day that we're kind of like, okay, we'll make more worksheets. And it was really nice to have someone else throw some ideas out there and for us to be able to work with those ideas. And just like Camille said, that team component has been really helpful and fun and energizing for us. So
yeah, no, it was critical. You were critical, and your personality is amazing. So it really adds a whole dynamic to the process. You know, do you know what I mean, Shelby? It's just like a human being, you know, just a real human being, authentic and just so supportive. And that was the best part of it. But you did help us chunk it down. What you shared with us really helped us get very specific. I think that's the key. Yeah.
And for people who maybe struggle to kind of like toot their own horn or promote themselves or promote their own work, it's been really helpful for us to hear from you and the people on your team about the different aspects of our work. It's really helped us to be able to kind of push those aspects of our work as well. So,
and feel confident. Yes.
Yeah. I love hearing all those things. So great to hear. And just to give the audience an idea, the team, it just seems kind of fortuitous that my team, they're all college athletes. And so it was a good audience to be able to digest that information and come from the athlete perspective and the coaching perspective, because they coach too. So it's really fun to be able to get into that. And I see lots of potential developing in the athlete space, particularly with the team that I work with. So that was great. Well, thank you for letting me and the audience know a little bit about your program. Your program is coming out here this fall. Very excited about that. We'll be sure to include your website and everything, which should be live pretty soon, and in the social media pieces, so we can have a vision of what that looks like. So thank you again, Karen, Camille.
Thank you, Shelby.
We'll talk to you soon.